Whatever. Let's just go. This isn't working the way I wanted it to. Oh God. Hi everyone. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me? We're not in auto tune, are we? I really hope we're not in auto tune. Voice mod's broken. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Untitled Chapter podcast.
Might be the auto tune podcast.
I hope it's not auto tune. I'm watching the chat quick to make sure. Pretty sure it's not, but if it is, that sucks. It'd be the auto tune podcast. How you guys doing? Welcome back to the Untitled Chapter podcast, episode 13. As you can see to my left and your right, we got Mr. Eric Moore, our co-host, who's really excited. He's got paper in front. He's got notes. Eric's gonna talk this stream. I don't even know what's happening.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then right above us on a pseudo TV screen is Mr. HMK, the hype man himself. This is our first.
Oh wait. Oh, I was like, oh, never mind. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say this is our first post E3 stream. Had to have the hype man on. This is gonna be a shorter podcast, guys. 45, maybe an hour at max. We'll see what happens here. When HMK's got a dip, we're gonna wrap things up and go from there. And it's okay because Bucks. They're playing right now. I wouldn't mind watching the second half.
Yeah,
So let's get right into this quick. And Eric, you're actually going to lead off with our first topic. So what we got?
We're talking about Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Awesome.
And so we're going to start off with a theory that I first originally read in chat during our E3 stream. But I've also heard it a couple of other places here now. That is that Cursa is actually a cursed Rosalina. So if you pick up and put up the put up the image, please.
Yep.
And I can. Oh,
I got you.
Did turn this
No,
off.
I got you. You keep talking.
Okay. So
I'm gone.
Yep. So
God.
I can. If Nate brings up this picture here,
We got it. We're good. We got it.
I can kind of see, in a certain extent, how we could get that. You got the star on the chest, because Rosalina's got the star kind of right here as well.
Right here.
Then you kind of look at the dress; it kind of slips up like hers does in the front there. I mean, I could kind of see how you could pull that out. I mean, so it's going to be an interesting. What do you guys think of that?
I see it. Like that. Got that
You
little
got
little
and then
slip
she's
there.
Got the star.
Sure.
Clearly, permanently. Present
Sure.
on her
I see.
chest.
See it. Yeah. I see it. I see it.
I don't know. I could see how it would be. But what do you guys think?
I definitely see that it could definitely be Rosalina. I like this theory a lot better than what I've been seeing people say about Cursa as Waluigi, and I'm like, but I like this theory a lot better.
Yeah. The other thing is we see rabid Rosalina, but we do not see Rosalina, and we've had the matching partners of all the rabbits and their counterparts.
Oh boy.
So
We're getting wild up
we're
in here.
we're getting
We're getting
theory.
wild up in
We're
here.
getting theory in here.
Okay. I like this theory a lot. Like, yeah, man, is this the first time we started off a podcast with a fan theory?
Yeah, possible.
Nice. I like it. Eric, bringing the show to the next level. Man, I got to give you tasks more often.
Yeah, well, and it also helps that I really am looking forward to this game.
Well, I mean, that's reason number one. So, like, I think this theory is really, really plausible. There's going to be a lot of theories around all these games. Breath of the Wild 2's obviously got a billion theories right now.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a bit. HMK's he's salivating over there for this. I mean, come on, it's Breath of the Wild 2. Come on, we've been waiting 2 years for a new trailer. Hopefully we're not waiting 2 years for the game to come out. We'll see what happens there.
Oh, definitely not. Hope not.
Oh, I hope not.
The only thing that I would say against it is maybe they made it too obvious that this could be leading towards you thinking it's Rosalina and then just make it left turn. So that'd be interesting to see how that actually turns out though.
Okay. All right, what else you got for us?
I actually found a dev interview, creative, the creative team interview, run by Ubisoft North America. And in that the goop that we see taking over the tower and stuff, that is known as the Dark Mess.
The Dark Mess. Okay.
Yes. So it's kind of a play on the cross between darkness and the mess that rabbits tend to leave behind them.
Okay.
And it's also kind of a homage to like what's going on in the world. It's kind of a dark mess right now then too.
Okay.
So I found that kind of interesting, and also we found out what that kind of curse looking stuff is called.
Sure. Dark Mess.
And
Cool.
then
Their own version of Malice. Got it.
right, exactly,
Yeah, basically.
exactly.
I mean, it's like, I wonder where they got that idea from. I don't know.
Right. They also said that so it sounds like there's gonna be multiple planets, and each planet is gonna have its own
Mario Galaxy.
unique style and puzzles to it. Are we surprised by that?
I mean, no. I would expect
Yeah, I
that. It's kind of like going to different worlds. You would kind of expect
Mm-hmm.
unique aspects. I mean, in the original game, we had unique areas
Yeah.
and stuff. So I would expect, it's kind of expected, I suppose.
I mean, to the point where I put obviously
I mean,
in the
fine.
at the back end of that. One other thing that I did find interesting is that the creative director said that they didn't view this as a sequel, but as an expansion to the tactical genre.
An expansion to the tactical genre.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
An
Like they don't
expansion
own
of
the
Right?
genre.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't own the
I
genre.
don't
What
know.
is that?
I don't know.
That's-
Maybe
that-
Nintendo's world. I don't know.
Okay, so it's not
I don't
it's
know
not a
what he meant by
sequel.
it,
So
but it's-
basically,
yeah.
it's not a sequel. So
But it's a sequel.
I don't.
I don't
But I
know.
don't get like. I don't because like if you remember the beginning of the original game, right? It's about how like a failed thing happens in the real world that leads to all this. Leads to the rabbits ending up down into the Mushroom Kingdom, and then everything goes batshit crazy. If it's not a sequel, then why the hell are Mario and Rabbids together?
I don't know.
Like I can understand it from the end of the original game. I don't know.
I mean, it's a sequel, obviously, but they didn't view it as one, which is I found weird.
oh, yeah, that's weird. And it's an expansion of the tactical genre.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they want.
Anything-
Maybe they have like the founder of tactical genre
Yeah,
working on the
right.
team. I have no
don't know
idea.
anything on that one, HK.
He's just shaking his head over there. He's like,
Yeah,
what?
I
think
that
like-
sounds sus. That sounds
No,
sus.
because like it's very similar to how certain not only video game developers but like movie directors, they try to like give that extra pizzazz to something that we know obviously what is, but they're like, it's not this, but it's that.
Oh
And
my
I'm
god,
like,
that's what that does
shut
sound like.
up.
Oh,
Like,
it's not
I-
this, but it's that.
I-
Yeah,
right. It's,
that
it's
is-
like it's not this, it's
Mm.
this. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
bro,
that's exactly the vibe.
No,
we're gonna get it. You already sold us. You don't need to do this extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
no, for sure. I thought it was just puff and smoke.
Making
but-
it sound posh a little bit.
right. I thought it was just puff
Right.
and smoke, but it sounded interesting, so I had to.
It's something different.
I
All
had
right.
to bring it up.
All right. Good to know.
So-
Might be a little full of
Yeah,
themselves.
right. So the same person, Davide Solini, the creative director,
Yep.
also stated that the combat system has been totally redesigned with focus on the fluidity and action offered by the possibility of moving the heroes in real time directly inside an area of movement.
Okay.
So,
That's different from the first
in-
game.
Yep. So it looks like it's gone away from the grid-based system to giving you an area of movement that you can freely move in and
Just do whatever.
you need to do.
That's way different in the first game.
have you guys ever played Quest 64? Because
Yes.
seeing that gameplay reminded me a lot about Quest 64.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. This is like, because the original Mario Rabbids was like basically XCOM, tactical turn.
Yeah, XCOM, Fire Emblem style. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, seeing these guys move and act as they keep moving, I'm like, I kind of get a little Quest 64 vibes from this a little bit.
Maybe that's what they mean by it's not a direct sequel because it's kind of like a natural expansion of what they were doing before
Right,
into something
right,
new.
Yes. But
Right.
Like kind of like how Project Triangle Strategy is not actually the next Octopath Traveler game,
but it is.
but it is, but it's not. Like the
yeah,
combat
yeah.
system's entirely like altered from the original in a way. So I feel like that's what it's kind of like here. Well, it is a sequel, but it's also kind of like, yeah, but look, we expanded the way combat works in a different. We got away from the grid, right? We went, well, as you said, Quest 60. I don't know how many of our audience have played Quest 64, but Quest 64 had a very similar vibe to that when you were playing it.
It's the best, worst game I've ever played in my life.
Well, it's so it has so much promise, and then it just never really gets there.
Like, it's so, it's
It has like
no, that's
everything.
a whole other.
It wants to be Ocarina of Time so
Yeah.
bad, but it doesn't get there.
Yeah.
That was the early 3D gaming days on console. Oh man.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Oh, hella early.
Yeah. There was many worse games than that. Oh my god.
So yeah,
Oh, yeah,
if you
definitely.
go back and watch the trailer, there is kind of a white circle esque thing that
Yeah.
I think shows you the area.
Yep.
And obviously, we don't know how many things you can do. Like if there's multiple enemies, if you can attack all of them, if there's 10 of them in that circle,
That'd be sick.
if you can attack them at one, like
Chain attacks.
chain attack it, or what. But obviously, it is totally different.
Sure.
They completely redesigned it. So, it's too early for this speculation. But Davide did say in the interview that they are building things today for the future. Do you think we will get a third one in this series?
Yes.
Oh, easily.
I don't know if it's going to be on Switch. It might be on the next platform,
Right.
but absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one sold like almost 10 million. This one is probably going to, with a bigger install base, is probably going to sell 10 million.
If not
Wasn't the
more.
first game? Didn't the first game come out like 2 years ago?
It came out in 2017, believe it or not.
Yeah. Like, whoa, dang. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be 4 years apart. Yeah. See, I was gonna say like maybe if we wait another 2 years after that, like
And they did DLC for that one the following year. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. After saying that, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be on the.
yeah, that's
on
why
the-
I'm like, I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe launch of the next platform, maybe, but
Right.
we'll see. And we got to see what DLC plans are for this too. So, well, we got. I mean, they're not gonna talk DLC yet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, it's Ubisoft. We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to buy the season pass before we even know what the game is.
Yeah, a month and a half out. Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let's go. Nah, I skipped the next two questions because they're kind of dumb. But how about rabbits for Smash?
I mean,
You get Rabbid Luigi, Rabbid Peach.
I want to know about those. I would say like a composite rabbit that it's funny. I love Ubisoft to a degree. I love Rayman. I grew up with Rayman, and I wanted Rayman for Smash. But after seeing the popularity of rabbits, I honestly think rabbits have way more of a chance to be in Smash than Rayman. And if rabbits were to get in Smash, I feel like you'll be controlling three of them. Like they will huddle and run around. Like as you move the character, it'll be huddling around as three, and then they'll like toss each other, just hit you guys with each other and stuff. Like it'll be just a very chaotic character, and I think that it would work. And I think that if Ubisoft were to get a rep, it would be Rabbit. It would be Rabbids, and it would just be like Rabbids, and just three rabbits being psycho on the field.
You're not wrong.
Oh yeah. Got anything else for us with this game?
The other thing that I wanted to bring up is the initiation of battles. Looks like it's actually like overworld induced. Because in the trailer, you would see a bomb all of a sudden just start chasing after you as you're running through the overworld.
Could be.
And
Like they're not like separate areas
yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
It's kind of all seamless, more seamless than because it was very obvious in the original game when you were entering a battle area, and maybe it's not as obvious this time around or something. Maybe anywhere can become a battle. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, yeah. I mean, I remember when they did the initial shot, it kind of looked. I don't want to say open world.
yeah,
Because it really wasn't that, but it felt like it was a lot more open in general than the set paths of the prior one, where it was basically you go this way and that's the way you're going. Every now and then you get to choose a different direction, but it's, it's very set. It was like being in the Lost Woods.
Mhm.
Basically, you're always going to go forward, left, right. There was no openness to it. This one feels a bit more open, but that could just be also the planet we were on.
yeah, and how it looks.
Multiple planets. I think we can't go without mentioning that clearly Super Mario Galaxy crossover, whatever.
Yeah.
We have Rosalina Rabid, maybe Rosalina Theory with the boss. Obviously, planets, space.
Absolutely.
I mean, it also makes me think that, remember last time we got Donkey Kong DLC?
Mhm.
Metroid DLC for this one?
Ooh, that could be interesting.
'Cause
Yeah.
we're in space.
Yeah.
Star Fox DLC?
Yeah. Ooh. There
We're
we
in
go.
space.
There we go. There we go.
We're in space, and Nintendo franchise. I'm just...
Like the most the original went was with Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong is considered in the Mario
Donkey Kong,
universe.
Mario came from Donkey Kong. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
still, you're in space. A good excuse to bring the space IPs in for DLC.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, I don't know. That's just something I wanted to toss out there. Anything else we want to say about
One other thing. It looks like Bowser could possibly be a playable character in this, just based on some of the art that was out there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
And-
on the key art, so
Yeah, he's on the
right,
key art.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it looks like it could be interesting that he could possibly be either a playable character.
That would be
or-
interesting if he was. Like, he wasn't working for the bad guys, but he's trying to help you stop them.
Yeah, that's his position, man. Nobody could take it.
Yeah.
I'm the bad guy.
You mess with me.
And one last question, quick. Any thoughts on that new Rabbit presented that had that sword?
you mean Loki?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They threw Loki. They knew Disney Plus was about to drop their thing. They had
Yeah,
to
man. Like it's all part of the plan, man.
It's all part of the plan.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's all part
Yeah.
of the plan.
So we adding the rest of the Avengers in then?
Yeah, that's the crossover I was missing.
Crossover.
Can you imagine? Like, I can see it have like a rabid Iron Man, a rabid Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
Man, don't
Oh
get
yeah,
started.
yeah.
Yo.
Rabbit
Yeah.
Thor.
Like I'm visualizing right now, but honestly, that new character, it seems pretty cool. It seems very original. I'm always down for like original IPs doing these crossovers, but introducing original characters through those crossovers. So I like to see what the story about this new mysterious green rabbit is.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
And actually, maybe another theory could be that whoever this new rabbit character is too, maybe that is the good version of Cursa.
Maybe.
Because again, with the pairs too. I mean,
I don't know.
I'm starting that theory.
Yeah, that's an Eric OG right here on the Thunder Five Podcast.
And that's all I got.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So, where's our hype level for this game? I know yours
Day
is
one.
like yours is day one through.
I already searched for
obviously. That's why I gave you this topic.
Right now, my hype is pretty high. I wouldn't say I slept on the first one, but the first one, like, I'm not really like I play tactical turn-based and stuff, but I'm not too crazy about it. Like, if there's another game on my radar, I would rather play that. But I did play Mario & Rabbids a little bit and whatnot. But this one looks like a lot better than the first one. Like, not only visually, but like scope, gameplay, like everything seems to be.
It's kind of like the first one was an experiment, and this one's like
right,
we're going all out. Yeah. And the first one has some really good moments in it. So
I'm down for it. And Grant Kirkhope. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Yes,
come
music
on,
is
man.
amazing.
He is back.
pretty much anything he makes music for is usually a masterpiece. So
Oh yeah.
That's one of the questions that I skipped. I'm like, he's back. Is that a good thing or bad
that's
thing?
that's
obviously a good
an
thing.
excellent thing.
Yeah.
It's just
Yep.
there's a whole group of composers in there that are just legends, and he's one of them. So yeah. All right, cool. Well, my hype level, I mean, I'm getting it day one. I fully beat the original. Loved almost every moment of it. Got a bit repetitive at times, but it was always worth it for the final boss fight payoffs. Those final boss fights were just epic. And the overall final fight, and then obviously into the DLC, was pretty good as too. I didn't like the Donkey Kong DLC as much as the base game. So I don't think I actually beat the DK DLC.
I thought it was a little bit easier than the actual game.
It kind of was. Well, because it's hard getting through that final fight, and then you get to the DLC, and you're like, oh, this should be like a step up in challenge, and it kind of feels like I'm back to the intro area again. But whatever, it is what it is. It still looked cool anyways.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right, so that's it for. Hey, we got Sparks of Hope talk finally. We were waiting since Saturday to actually have a conversation about it. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, right.
So now let's get into what's probably going to dominate the rest of the podcast.
No, I mean,
I mean, it's the game. It's the only thing I cared that they show. I'm excited for Metroid Dread. I'm excited for all the other games that they revealed. The new Mario Party game, which looks like top 100, but done right. That's cool. I hope there's free DLC for some of that stuff. Hope to like get more stages in. Of course, we also hoped for that in the last Mario Party game, and it didn't happen. So who the hell knows? Age of Calamity DLC looks really, really great. Although my reaction to it at the time was a bit held back because I'm like, wait, they're ending with this. They can't just end with this. Oh, AJ Nomo's up there. Oh, AJ Nomo's up there. Okay. Oh no, he's talking Breath of the Wild too. Oh crap, they're not going to show footage again. He's going to say, oh, we need a little bit longer. That little bit word came out of his mouth, and I'm like, no, not 3 times in a row. But he meant a little bit of footage to show.
No, I think I'm pretty sure he said the last 2 times we told you we needed a little bit more time. I think is what
I don't remember the exact phrasing. I don't care.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because we dropped it.
Yes,
1 minute 38 seconds of
holy
heaven.
Holy,
literally might even be a heaven happen. I have no idea. So HFK.
I'm so glad they showed gameplay during that. I was
actual gameplay, not a cutscene.
Yeah, I was twofold scared about what was going down at E3. One, they weren't going to show it, and two, if they were going to show it, it wasn't going to be like gameplay or anything like that.
Yeah, it'd be one of the cutscenes.
And we saw gameplay, and bro, I feel so elated from seeing what we saw at E3. Just like, because the question that kept burning me ever since we got that first trailer of E3 2019 when it comes to Breath of the Wild 2 is that, we have all these other video game companies trying to emulate and, trying to write off the success of the open era genre that Breath of the Wild seemed to, innovate. I'm not talking about open world. I'm not talking about sandbox. I'm talking about open air. That is something, and that's an approach to the sandbox and open world genres that we haven't seen applied in a game like Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild. And then all these other companies want to get a piece of the pie. We got Ubisoft with Immortals Phoenix Rising. We have MiHoYo with Genshin Impact and whatnot. So with these other games that received pretty well, what is Breath of the Wild 2 gonna do to set themselves apart from these other games? And we got our answer at the show, and I'm like, boy, let's go. Like, seeing that sky, I'm like, we're not gonna go back to Sky. Skyward Sword did that already. We're not gonna go back. We went back, and we went, boy, did we go back. It just I'm excited to see all the new stuff that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have entailed, but we're going to be returned to the sky. We're going to have new powers, expanded powers. Nintendo's all like, stasis, man, how about reverse full time? How about that? How about swimming through land? I'm like, okay, we can't dive in the water. We can't dive under the water, but you know what we could do? We can dive through land. How about that? And I'm like, dude, shield, flamethrowers, all this new... I'm floored. And the one thing I was talking about on my earlier stream is that I'm really glad for, because I know we're going to talk about the 2022 release date, is that I feel that this game is going to come around a lot sooner than people are expected. I hear whispers all the time about holiday 2022, but the thing is, Nintendo and Aonuma has said that they're only going to show something until they're confident and comfortable showing stuff. And when we saw that gameplay from Breath of the Wild 2, it did not look like it was struggling at the very least. We saw it struggling in Legends Arceus for Pokemon, and that's coming out in January. So if the gameplay looks pretty solid at this point in time, I'm just saying, I think I want to say I'm confident, and I think Nintendo's confident of having this game come out spring, March, 5 years to the dot when it comes to Breath of the Wild's original release date. Take that to the bank and check it.
Ooh. I'm glad you said that, because I'm on the total opposite side of it. I'll give you two reasons why, though. One of the reasons, obviously, what Agent Noma said, we're aiming for it to be in 2022. We're targeting 2022, which makes it feel like they're not quite 100% positive it's going to be 2022. And it could just be a hedging bet thing, because history tells you when they announce a year for a Zelda game, it doesn't come out that year. Like, every time. 2015 Breath of the Wild, 2 years later.
It will be different this year. It'll be different.
That's what we hope. That's what we hope. But there also was a pandemic in between, so who knows what happened with that.
Right. And I just feel, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I just really feel this game was supposed to come out this year. Mm-hmm. Like, my gut tells me it was meant for this year, but, it happened. And also, remember, with the Nintendo Switch games coming out and being promoted, Nintendo seems to be more confident and in line with announcing these games with gameplay and with a year, unless they know they're going to hit it within the year of showing off the gameplay. They did it with Mario Odyssey. They did it with Splatoon 2. They did it with Smash. So I feel like, we're in this new era of them being a little bit more cautious when showing off those numbers a little bit. But, like you said, Zelda's always had that plague, that scourge, in which, we see a date. Okay, Nintendo, sure, right. Yeah.
In addition to this, Bill Trinan said something quite interesting in an interview with IGN, where he said, we're going to see more information on this game in the coming months, which that's exciting. Yep. The coming months is exciting. That means, like,
ask if we were going to see
Game
it in
Awards,
the
next Direct. That's kind of coming months makes it feel like early 2022, but then he said coming months to the next year, which is like, well, the next year would be June next year. If you're going to keep releasing new info all the way till then, holiday 2022.
I don't think so. I think I think that term was more like
January.
It was more meant to be like into the next year. It's like, okay, we continue the string of information into the next year towards release. We like.
But that's not the exact wording, and this isn't a Japanese translation.
Right.
It's native English.
Misspeak though.
They can misspeak, and the bottom line is, if we see this game again at the next Direct, it's got to be coming early 2022 then, because that means they're pushing marketing for it.
You'd figure.
Yeah. I definitely think there's going to be a Direct right after the Skyward Sword release. I feel the next Direct we're going to see is going to be in August. And we could see it there in August. And then, maybe like they do that kind of trickling effect of that they show more screenshots every other week on the social media. And then like they're close to final, if not final. Real like, hey, it's happening, guys, at the Game Awards or maybe even January. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking the roadmap could be like.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. It's going to be interesting, obviously, to see when this game comes out, because right now there's 4 massive games that we know for 2022. It's crazy. It's like they're repeating 2017 all over again, except we don't know if Mario Odyssey is going to be there or something like that. But I mean, we got Pokemon Legends Arceus. Just kick off the year with maybe the most ambitious Pokemon game ever made. Whether or not I trust Game Freak to pull it off, I don't know. It did not look exactly like it was ready to go last time we saw it. And that's where people were like, oh, well, maybe they're developing it for that new Switch. Maybe. I have no idea. All I know is it looked rough, and I don't know how they're going to go from that to less than a year later the game's out. But I don't have to worry about it. The Game Freak also doesn't necessarily have the same quality standards, I think, in place with their game development, because they're not willing to delay things, like, ever. So they have a set way to do things. It's all set up with the anime as well, and all, like, so they're not willing to delay things, so they're more rushed. Yeah. And that's what makes me worry about Legends Arceus. Is obviously, hey, look, they've spent more time on this than other Pokemon games, but also they were probably given a hard date, and this is it. And what you have, it comes out. It is what it is.
Right.
They don't have that Nintendo polish.
Yeah, I mean, they don't come out like fundamentally broken,
right?
But they don't always come out running the best, or there might be some bugs in it that like wouldn't be there in a normal Nintendo game. Then again, there's always glitches, but glitches aren't everything. So
glitches aren't necessarily bugs.
It depends on the glitch.
Yeah.
Saving in the cannon room in Twilight Princess. I'm sorry. That should have not made it in the final game. That screwed so many save files back then. But anyways, that's old school. Yeah. You'll always find some old school glitches like that or bugs and stuff like that. I had a bug in the Stone Temple and the gold cartridge Majora's Mask that deleted my save file if I saved it a certain owl statue every single time. And then by the time I got back to it, because it was so deep in the game, I'd forget and I'd save at it again, because it's one of the ones you save at right before a boss. And boop, file gone. But anyways, those are old bugs. So 2022. Okay. Let's just, whether it's early or whether it's late, do all 3 of us agree it's actually going to come out? That's like the big thing. Will it actually release, or do we think traditional Zelda delay is coming? Like,
I'm confident in 2022. I'm confident.
Confident?
Yeah, I think the COVID delay is going to be our Zelda delay. Because judging by the theory of it's supposed to come out this year, maybe the theory that it was supposed to come out this year, then extending into next year,
so
then would make sense.
My whole thing is, obviously it's going to depend on when we see the game again. If we don't see the game the rest of this year, it's not coming out early next year, in my opinion. But you might say, well, if that's the case, then why do they show it now? Well, there's a certain game coming out in July that might have a direct relation. That if they show this sky footage from Breath of the Wild 2 is going to push a certain game skyward on the sales charts. Mm-hmm. So it literally could have just been a marketing ploy, and it could be a holiday title next year, but they wanted to show now, so you, which you probably are going to buy it, but so all of you watching, watch Skyward Sword and buy Skyward Sword HD, especially if you didn't play it the first time around, so you can know what the hell is happening. Because remember, when they unveiled Skyward Sword HD, what was the thing they spent half of that unveil doing? Comparing it to, things in Breath of the Wild originated in this game, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at now Breath of the Wild 2 literally has crap in the sky.
Yeah.
So, go buy Skyward Sword.
I put my pre-order in today.
Yeah, but to be fair, you haven't played yourself a lot of the older Zelda games. I'm not like, some of our veterans on the podcast here. But that's okay. Like, I'm going to get it too, because I don't own a Wii anymore or a Wii U, so I don't have a way to play the OG anymore. So I'll probably pick it up. And especially Zelda. I'm a sucker. They could charge me $100. I'd probably find a way to justify it to myself, because gotta have it. It's Zelda.
So it's unfortunate. We're cogs in the machine, but
this is the one IP they have me. They have me with this one.
I got the amiibo. I got the Joy-Cons. I got it all. I'm ready to roll.
Ready to roll, man. Yeah. So, what do you think they're doing a marketing push to push Skyward Sword at all here with Breath of the Wild? Is that why we saw the sky?
Obviously. Well, not just we saw the sky, because it's one of those things. Zelda is such a golden goose and such a precious baby with Nintendo. I don't think it'll ever get regulated to the point where they would like force the Zelda team in order to show something, in order to push a game that's coming out within a month. Because like I said before, the footage that we saw for Breath of the Wild 2 seemed complete. It didn't seem rough like Legends Arceus, right? So it felt ready. And that's all the thing with Zelda coming out now, that they don't have two systems on the market, Nintendo, when it comes to the home console or the mobile console, handheld console, whatever. So they have to try and get these releases either back to back, close, concise, get that Zelda streams, that Zelda hype ready, one right after the other, when it comes to these releases on one console that you could take everywhere. I mean, we had Age of Calamity coming out in November of last year, and then we have Skyward Sword coming out July of this year, and then we got the DLC of Age of Calamity, which is coming out this month and November and stuff. So I mean, like, that constant stream, that flow of Zelda money, I feel is something they know they can tackle with due process and being very particular and confident in with it. And that's why I feel like, the last thing of Zelda before Breath of the Wild 2 is supposed to come out is Age of Calamity DLC in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that, they're not going to make us wait way too long for Breath of the Wild 2, and that what we saw is super early in hopes of a 2022 holiday release. Because when thinking about, like, they're going to show off us the 2022 year release date of the game that could possibly come out November, December, holiday season, whatever, I'm like, dude, isn't Starfield, which was a title that's exclusive to Xbox, that's supposed to come out in November? And they were like, yeah, November of next year, brother. And I'm like, Zelda is like, Nintendo's going to try and do that? That's not really Nintendo's bag in order to release or show off a year that they know internally they intend to have, holiday season of that year. So with the success of Breath of the Wild selling so many copies, way more than Zelda has ever done in any capacity.
We're uncharted territory.
Exactly. The highest Zelda's ever sold was Twilight Princess, 8 million units in that bar part.
Yep.
And then here comes Breath of the Wild in the 20 millions. And I'm like, so Nintendo knows the new, ceiling, the new, goal that Zelda can reach. And knowing that, of course, they're going to double down on Breath of the Wild. They're going to double down on Zelda releases. They're going to double down on these particular, releases in order to make that money. They did it with Fire Emblem. They did it with Pokemon years back. They're doing it with Nintendo. Not Nintendo. They're doing it with Mario and stuff. And hopefully they'll do it with Metroid when Dread comes out. Nintendo realizes these things when their video games reach new heights. They get right into it. When Awakening sold that much with Fire Emblem, boy, we got Awakening. We got 2 Fates games with a DLC. We got a remake of Gaiden. We got 3 houses, and we got DLC for 3 houses. And Heroes on the phone, Nintendo knows what to do when it comes to keeping in that money stream. I don't think we'll ever see a Zelda mobile title. And because of that, Nintendo knows what's up when it comes to their strategy of releasing Nintendo Zelda games. So that's why I'm like, I don't think they did that just to sell more Skyward Sword HD copies. I think they're doing that in order to keep that string and to keep Zelda fresh in the minds of gamers, not only hardcore, but now casuals, in order to put out for a closer release.
So I wasn't going to bring this up, but you're talking about that steady stream of Zelda, and they know how to take advantage. So what about that Zelda 35th anniversary?
Yep.
I'll buy that Game & Watch, man.
I'm gonna buy the Game & Watch too. But no Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD, which people were hoping we would get.
I'm not too mad about that. I'm like, when it comes to HD re-releases of Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, or Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, I'm not too mad about that, because we can still play them on the Wii U, and I know that they're gonna come sooner or later. What I'm more mad about is everything outside the games in order to celebrate the 35th anniversary. Shirts, merch, us telling us that 35th anniversary is happening and how they're gonna celebrate it and whatnot. Now, obviously, we're on the tail end of COVID and whatnot, and we can, but should we have the concerts? I'm pretty sure there was a symphony plan, but COVID threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I understand that aspect, but I feel like Nintendo could have been doing more to capitalize on that. And then my gut tells me that in a similar vein of the 35th anniversary of Mario, I feel that we're going to be celebrating the 35th anniversary of Zelda on its tail end, if not off the mark a little bit. And, obviously that strategy must have been shifted because of COVID. So I'm not too mad about it. I just wish they would acknowledge it a little bit more. I mean, the Game & Watch is neat, but give me a
crazy,
shirt.
Though, that
Like,
they came out and said no more Switch games. Flat out came out and said no more Switch games planned.
Here's what I think is like. It's easy for I'll say this, it's easy for HMK to be like, oh, I don't care about the Twilight Princess HD Wind Waker. She's necessarily coming now because still play it on Wii U. Well, only 13 million people can play it on Wii U. There's like 100 million Switches. So a lot of people are angry after journalists and other people say, hey, we're getting this. Now some are saying, oh, we'll get it in 2022 or it's a 2022 backup plan.
Yeah, a lot of people are still like confident in that. Yeah.
Well, because they've ported like every single. I mean, we're getting Fatal Frame made into the Blackwater that didn't even sell that well on Wii U. And these two Zelda games actually sold pretty decent for Wii U games anyways. What the hell do you think they're going to do on this now that Zelda's more popular than ever? They might Wind Waker should definitely, if they release it on its own, should outsell the original Wind Waker sales because the original Wind Waker sales weren't exactly blowing people's minds back then. It wasn't horrible, but it was doing kind of low end of what you expect a 3D home console Zelda game to sell. And then obviously Twilight Princess was the previous best selling at 8, but now with like all this popularity, I mean, could that be a 10, 15 million seller on its own? I have no idea. And like that's why I think it's frustrating for a lot of Switch owners because they're like, hey, I don't own a Wii U. Most of us don't own a Wii U. We have no access to these HD Zelda games that have existed for a while, and this is why we were hoping to get it individually or as a double pack. Now, I can see why if they are planning to do a double pack, they wouldn't do it this year. That really makes Skyward Sword look like a horrible deal.
Exactly right. They don't want the sales.
That would be something. That would be something where if we're gonna make Skyward Sword look like a horrible deal, it's gonna be when Skyward Sword's done selling and we're releasing this next summer or something. Yeah. Okay, because then it's gonna be like, oh yeah, Skyward Sword's a horrible deal, but we already got your money. You're not gonna give it back. So here's your double pack. And that's obviously a big hope they even do a double pack. That would be the only hope for that is because of 3D All Stars. But they've done that before with Mario. And they didn't really do that. Like, the visual improvements of Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD, despite being games already done, it was way better than what they did with the 3D All-Stars games. So, yeah, even though it's double dipping, it is what it is. So, guys, I think we're going to get these games just because every Wii U game, like, I even think Xenoblade Chronicles X might get, like, a really late Switch port someday down the line just to complete the Nintendo-published library of games from Wii U coming over that didn't get, like, sequels per se like X doesn't have a sequel, guys. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, not a sequel to X. It's a sequel to the original Xenoblade Chronicles. You're not going to get the Mario Party, or not the Mario Party, the Paper Mario off the Wii U because we got a new one. So they're not going to port over the old one, just like you're not going to get the Yoshi game off Wii U because we got a new one. But yeah, everything else that doesn't really have a direct sequel, Mario Kart, etc., got ported over. So I'm pretty sure that these games will get ported because they can't have sequels. They're old classic games that have been brought back, so bring them back again. Ocarina of Time HD, Majora's Mask HD, I don't even know if I've always been on the train, even though Game Over Jesse has spent 2 months convincing me they're real. I kept telling him, I kept telling everybody else, there's no way in hell this is happening. I want it to happen. I'm not saying Grezzo can't HD the 3DS ones. They absolutely could. I don't think they are. Pandemic happened right after Link's Awakening. I'm sorry. They might have had everything they had just to get Miitopia out the door. So I'm not, I know they usually make multiple games at once, but again, COVID, pandemic, I'm telling you guys, it really affected things. And like, as you said, if Breath of the Wild, I fully believe that Breath of the Wild 2, the sequel, whatever it's called, that spoiler title we can't know. Like, I agree. It was probably meant to come out this year as a capper. Because if you look at their holiday season, Metroid, you're pairing Metroid in October with a third party created chibi style remake of Pokemon in November. And by the way, they're gonna sell out and things are gonna be fine, but it's kind of like that doesn't quite seem like the banger combo you wanted for the holidays. Kind of feels like, no, that combo would have been, oh yeah, we got our Pokemon, but then we got Breath of the Wild 2. And that was going to be the 1-2 punch, and then you have Metroid, so you kind of have like a Metroid Zelda and ending with Pokemon Combo. But again, COVID and everything, and there's been rumors that Breath of the Wild 2 is the most impacted of all of it, which would make sense because they have the biggest team at Nintendo. It's the largest development team they have, the most amount of members from Monolith Soft that basically now just help Zelda exclusively at this point. And so, yeah, it's a giant team. And the bigger the team, the harder it's going to be to just have everyone work from home and keep things going smoothly. So, I do believe it was intended for this year, which led to the credence of early 2022. But we'll see. We'll see. We don't know. I'm hedging my bet by saying, hey, if I say holiday and it gets delayed out of 2022, whatever. I thought it was coming holiday 2022. So I'm hedging my bet. Hedging my bet here. Hedging my bet.
Setting yourself up for not disappointment.
I mean, we already have big games next year, too. I don't even know if next year needs Breath of the Wild 2 right now.
No,
it's got 3 bangers.
No, don't say that.
I need Breath of the Wild. Okay, Pokemon Legends Arceus, if they do it correctly, that's going to be massive. 20+ million seller. If it's massive, it'll be a 20+ million seller. They have Splatoon 3, which I'm sorry. Have you seen the sales of Splatoon 2?
Oh, yeah.
And this game might top that. Yeah. This could be the next 20 million seller from Nintendo.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's insane for me to think. A new IP started in the Wii U era is now one of the biggest Nintendo franchises. Like, something good came out of Wii U era in terms of new IP. Alrighty then. I'll take that. Mm-hmm. And then obviously we all know about Sparks of Hope, and that's probably going to do pretty well too. And that's just what we know now, this year. Mm-hmm. What did they say at the end of that direct? We have more software titles in the works. We're just not going to show you right now, but we'll show you in the future. Mm-hmm. Well, no doubt you do. But you're letting us know, by the way, that's not our entire 2022 lineup. I know that 2022 lineup sounds baller. We got more.
Yeah.
Is there an Odyssey 2 they're going to sneak out there? Something like that. Mario Kart 9 that has to exist at some point. Are they going to toss that out next year? And imagine if there's a Zelda, Mario Kart, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Sparks of Hope all in the same. I mean,
it could.
It only gets better if somehow there's a new Animal Crossing, because that will sell 30 million. So there's not going to be, by the way. That's a once a generation game. But it's kind of one of those, like, of the mega sellers, like having them all come again. Did we just launch a new system? Well, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. They're repeating 2017 with all the big hits. Like we're desperate. We need the system to be successful. Well, it already is successful. Now we're just going to keep this thing going. Now, by the way, Switch Pro existing or not existing, they are just trying to keep the Switch going for as long as it can. Sure. And the number one thing that always kills Nintendo's hyper successful platforms, when they stop supporting it with big games.
Yeah.
They threw Skyward Sword to die. Mm-hmm. They announced Wii U before Skyward Sword even came out. Mm-hmm. They threw it to die. Yeah. Nobody cared anymore. Oh, we're already looking towards next gen.
And boy, did they probably,
Yeah, and the reveal of it wasn't, that was not a very good public reveal of that, which digital showcases really help with that now, because they can show it in its best light. But that's always the risk of live wireless anything. So I would have been, what I don't understand too is, I know factually in the early days of Wii, Nintendo had kiosks that had fully wired motion controllers, and why they weren't using that on stage with thousands of people in the arena.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I don't get it. It was obviously one of probably the biggest regrets they have, and they might have think that bombed Skyward Sword, which maybe it did. I also think the fact that you unveiled the Wii U before and told everyone this thing's coming next year.
You're not wrong.
I mean, why invest in the system now? And at the time, there was also no big games coming. All the big games that were coming were ones that Operation Rainfall was begging to come over. Mm-hmm. Like Nintendo had Skyward Sword was it. There was like nothing coming out in that 2-year period but Skyward Sword that was new. So it was a bad time, and Nintendo has done this every time. What happened to 3DS? Petered out. It just petered out. They stopped making games, big games for it, which makes sense because of the Switch. But at least that one made sense because you had a platform that arguably replaced 3DS because it's portable too. But that doesn't always happen. GameCube petered out. Wii petered out. Look, even at the NES, towards the end of the NES era, petered out. SNES era started petering out, leading to the N64 because Nintendo has never had one system where all their development resources are thrown at it. Because they've had Game Boy and NES, and then they just always had the two branches. So my hope is, Nintendo said they want 8, maybe 10 years out of the system if we're lucky, or at the midway point right now, which should suggest at least 4 more solid years. Well, the only way you're going to get there is I'm hoping Nintendo's taking a page out of Sony's book, and you just keep getting bangers all the way up to the next system. Now,
Yeah.
then you have to buy the re-release, remastered versions the following year on the most recent releases to get the whole Switch 2 version, PS5 version. Okay, fine. But hey, the system got baller support all the way up and keeps the fan base engaged. Because the fan base tends to get unengaged from Nintendo when they stop releasing games. And that happens quite frequently. Or in the case of the Wii U, when they just tell you at E3 when they're showing off the biggest Wii U game of all time, oh, by the way, we're discontinuing this platform in October, and it's coming out, launching on NX. And we're not going to tell you what NX is yet, but don't worry, you'll still be able to get it on Wii U, and all our demos are on Wii U, but we're done with Wii U, by the way. So enjoy playing Wii U for your last time at E3, because we don't really care about Wii U.
Jesus.
Right.
All right, so I hate
You gotta
to
go.
be the bearer of bad news, but I actually do have to dip.
Yep, that's all right.
You're good.
Thank you so much, HMK, for coming on. You want to let people know where they can find you at?
Oh, definitely. If you just go to Google and just put in the 3 letters HMK, you're gonna find me. Go into YouTube, put in the letters HMK, you're gonna find me. You're gonna find me everywhere at HMK or HM Killer. And I had a lot of fun on this stream. I wish I could stay longer, but I got things.
Next time, we'll make it up for next time. Next time, it'll be like a 4-hour marathon.
Let me know when, and let's schedule this ahead of time. We got this. All right.
We got it.
I hope you guys had a fun E3. I hope you guys are looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2 and more. But I gotta be out here. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming on. And that's the end of episode.
Oh, I got one more question for you, Nate.
What?
And 13.
Yeah.
13.
13, episode 13.
We're at HMK.
13. Yeah, he's like holding it up. Do I have this right?
No.
Did you put the wrong number in the stream?
No, you're good.
Episode 13. No,
you're good.
what's that question?
I have one more question for you.
What?
Do you think that 2022 is going to be the biggest year in gaming? I mean, look
Oh
at
my
Nintendo's lineup. Look at Xbox's
God of
lineup,
War 2.
Yeah, and then PS5 as well.
and
yeah.
then PS5.
Supposedly what we're getting
Yeah.
22 PS5. Probably. We'll see. It's going to be the one that makes me the poorest. All right, later, guys.